Hi there, you're watching The Appreciationist. My name is Peter Hartman.
Hi, I'm Valerie Soule.
And hi, I'm Samantha Barley.
And tonight we are talking about finding inner peace, finding peace within. So we're going to have a lot of fun talking about that here today. But before we get to that, just want to do a quick update for TLOA for this week. We had some really fun events this past month. We just finished the last big event about the Peace, Power, and Passion, where the whole Law of Attraction team was on stage downtown at the library doing a fun event talking everything to do about the Law of Attraction. We are very interested in hearing what you would like for the next coming months for this season. We're planning on doing some outdoor things. So if there's anything that you'd like to do, either more kins, more dinners, more discussions, whatever it is, please feel free to let us know. You can find us at meetup.com/TLOAMTL. That's meetup.com/TLOAMTL. But I want to let you know what's on our calendar here. We have 2 meetups coming up. We have tomorrow. Sam, that's yours.
Yep. So I'm doing an appreciation walk on Mount Royal tomorrow from 6:15 to about 8:15. So this is a time where we get together, we talk, we walk, and we're really talking about things that we appreciate. So if you know anything about the Law of Attraction, you realize that whatever we give our attention to becomes a greater part of our experience. Quote by Peter Hartman. And so what we do is we really talk about things that we appreciate, things we're looking forward to, things that are going well, the beautiful bay. Like it really doesn't have to be anything too crazy, just anything that helps us feel good. And so it's a really fun time. So come on out. It's posted in Law of Attraction Montreal. There haven't been any RSVPs there, but it's also posted in Self-Discovery Montreal. And I think we're going to be about 6 or 7. So it'll be a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. You're outdoors, you get some exercise, you get to meet people, and so it's a really, really fun thing to do. And what a way to meet people, right? Outdoors, you sort of put in the context where you're talking about things you appreciate. Those are the kind of conversations I like to have. In fact, that's why I created the show. So a lot of fun. Definitely check that out. And Val, you have a meetup coming up, right?
Yes, I do, on June the 27th, which is a Tuesday night at Resto Vego at 6:30, from 6:30 to 8. It's in French. It's going to be a discussion, and it's called The Secrets of the Law of Attraction. It was inspired by the event we just did, and I just thought something in French would be good for the French-speaking people.
Hey, that's a wonderful thought. That's very important. Yeah, definitely. Really glad that you decided to do something like that. You can find all of that at thelawofattraction.ca. Just click on calendar, and it'll bring us to our meetup page. All right, that's the TLOA update for the week. I don't know if there's anything else to say there, but let's dive into the most important thing we do during the show, which is called a moment of appreciation. And that's where we look back at the past 7 days, and we pick out something that we appreciate. It can be something good that happened that's easy to appreciate, or it can be something that wasn't so great, but that we can see the value in today. Well, moments of appreciation. Well, certainly my favorite moment of appreciation was the event that we did at the Atwater Library. It was really fun getting everybody together, talking about the Law of Attraction, and just having that sort of simple topic just having that one topic to dive into as deeply as possible. So that was a lot of fun. I mean, has the weather been amazing or what? I mean, what's going on here? I know I complain about the weather, but sunny times, hot times, a little too hot, but I think that's exactly where you want it, right? Just a little too hot so that you can really appreciate. So we're really having a good time there. I had a wonderful time with Sam eating sushi. Great movies coming out. Watch Wonder Woman and Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I just feel like it's a luxurious time here. So my moment of appreciations are really piling up this season here. How about you gals? Do you have anything to appreciate? Anything that's sticking out in your mind?
Sure, I'll go. So I'll talk just about today, I suppose. A friend invited me over to her place for some freshly made iced tea and a snack. And it was super nice sitting on her balcony. Today it's a little chillier. I don't know if you've actually gone out, Peter, but it's not like, okay.
I went out. It was beautiful. I'm sweating.
But it's not hot like it was. So it was super nice, super chill. And she actually got me a gift. And so she had bought herself a hat. And then she was like, she was questioning, is she going to offer it to me? Is she not? She told me this later on. But finally, she offered me a hat. And little did she know, I've been searching forever for a hat that I like. I'm really difficult when it comes to hats, but if you see how white I am, I really need to stay covered, or I have to put tons of sunscreen. Anyway, so she offered me this hat and she showed it to me and I was like, oh, this is nice. And at first I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like it. No, I'm sure, like, my goodness, I don't know, I'm so difficult with hats, I doubt it, but it's the perfect hat for me. It is the perfect hat. I jumped with joy, and she tells me it's part of my birthday gift. So my birthday's in a few days, and so I just felt like so happy and just like, wow, like how did, like, you know, law of attraction.
Who was it that gave you the hat again?
Well, I don't say names on.
Oh, that's right, but I can imagine. Okay, all right. I'm surprised you got a hat. Yeah, you've been talking about this hat for a little while now.
Yeah, even yesterday I was searching for a hat. Yeah, super fun.
Well, that's good. That's a nice moment of appreciation. The law of attraction, huh? Whatever you give your attention to becomes a greater part of your experience. I don't know if you were chatting up hats around this person, but
no, not even. That's why she wasn't sure she was even going to offer it to me. And then she was like, "This is so Sam." Like, she saw it, she bought it for herself, but then she was like, "This is really for Sam. Like, this is." And so she's like, just, you know, she got in tune with what I was wanting. It was great.
Oh,
yeah. Really cool. My second part is just super quick. I just had a coaching session in the park, and that is just like on a beautiful day like today, sitting under weeping willow trees near the water. It was gorgeous, sun going down, like just perfect. So that, like, I love my job for that.
Well, wonderful, excellent, wonderful. How about you, Val?
Yesterday, something quite simple, but so intense at the same time. The sounds of summer. So as you were saying, it's been really hot. Like on Monday was really, really hot, to the point where I had to install my air conditioning, even though it's always a lot of work. But at some point it's like, okay, enough. I just have to do it. But yesterday was perfect. Yesterday was perfect. And because of Monday, I appreciated it so much. And well, you guys know that across the street from my house, there are water fountains. So, and they started them at the end of May, I think. So I'm hearing water all the time, and it's really, really nice. But sometimes I hear more than that. So you have people chatting, you have people playing music once in a while. And yesterday I was at my house, and I was doing a translation. And it was just the perfect weather. And then all of a sudden, like really, like from far away, and not very, very loud, but just exactly my kind of music, like jazz, really old jazz type music. And then I'm just transported to another time. It's amazing what it does to me. And I loved it because I really appreciated it. Like, it was delicious. It really was. So I was so grateful for that. And it was like a beautiful gift.
That's really excellent. I really love that. That's really cool. You guys are making me think about all kinds of things I appreciate now. My list is getting longer and longer. I really love that. We went to, I got some great news. Well, great news for me and the other part of my life. We got a message from Comic-Con Montreal, which is becoming really, really huge, that we're putting on a comedy show there. So Tom and I and some other, and some colleagues are going to be putting on a comedy show at Comic-Con. I mean, I can't even believe it. It's like a dream come true.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking. Tom and I will be performing our first, well, it won't be the first time when we get up there, but we'll be doing a duo set. So we're going to be hosting the event, and we're going to be doing it together. We've never done that before. That's a little nerve-wracking, but heck, okay, you got to leave your comfort zone, like Sam says. You gotta do these things. And also the other day, what day of the week? It was either yesterday or the day before. When things happen just like yesterday and I can't remember, I always feel like something's wrong with me. I guess something is. We went to the Blue Dog on Saint Laurent. They had closed down the Saint Laurent street, and Tom was performing comedy, and it was such a beautiful evening that they decided to do comedy on the street. So I got to see Tom perform comedy for crowds on the street and passerbyers and all that stuff. So that was also a lot of fun. I don't know, I guess when I do the show, I don't really think too much about comedy, but blessings in disguise. I'm actually very nervous underneath everything. I'm kind of freaking out, but that's a lot of fun.
We're gonna have to create a meetup around it. I think that'll be super fun to invite people to head out and see you guys.
Yeah, if, we'll invite people who are capable of. Well, actually, no, this one will be PG-13. I'm pretty sure it'll be pretty respectable. But yeah, when these gifts that are out there, whether it's somebody who knows there's something that you who provides you a gift, or you're hearing music or the sounds of the world around you, or you're just out on a nice summer evening and plans kind of change on you. I just love how this sort of how alive life is. I know that's a weird thing to say, life is nothing but alive, but how alive life is and how that can help. Really, really cool. You guys, any other moments of appreciation? Did I step on anybody's thing there?
We're gals.
We're gals.
And we're non-gendered. We're
persons.
We're persons.
Yeah, exactly, persons. Any other moments of appreciation, you persons? I think we can go on and on, but let's dive into the topic of tonight's show, which is finding peace within. Finding peace within. The next three topics that are coming up for the shows are pulled directly from the event that we had just last week or whenever it was. And I don't remember the dates. To me, all the dates. Anyway.
I think it was a couple of weeks now.
Was it a couple?
Yeah, because you didn't do a meetup last week, an Appreciationist last week, because you had your meeting for Comic-Con.
The first thing that I love about the law of attraction, the first thing I love about this personal development, the first gift that I received from it was this sort of sense of inner peace. I mean, it's not that I'm completely at peace and completely fine and nothing bothers me, although I'm pretty close to that. It's that I used to live in a lot of confusion and fear and just wondering about what was wrong, and learning about the law of attraction really helped me sort of put a lot of those questions to rest. It gave me satisfying answers that didn't close my mind but opened it, and it's the thing that I love the most when it comes to appreciating, when it comes to personal development, when it comes to the law of attraction. It's the thing I care about the most. I mean, I know there are people out there who want to get things, and so do I. Well, I mean, I got an iPad now, so I don't need that, but that felt good. But hey, that's something I got out of the blue. I didn't even say I appreciated that. I got an iPad, you know. Sam told me the other day, Peter, you just get devices. What's up with you? Anyway, but besides getting things, besides achieving your ambitions, besides pursuing your dreams, the stillness that comes with understanding more about what's happening with you and what's happening with the people around you really felt good. So I'm going to tell you just a little story, and then we'll dive into the topic. You'll let me know how finding peace within applies to you. So if you meet me and you talk to me for any length of time, you're going to realize that Peter's a little weird. What's more interesting is that I used to be weirder because I've gone through a normalization period. And so I had a friend one time, and it was a very good friend. I really loved him. We chatted all the time. We talked into the night, hours and hours and hours and hours. I just loved hanging out with this friend. He was so much fun. He kind of taught me tact. He taught me how to hold my tongue. He taught me how to be respectful. He taught me all kinds of social things, how to be confident, how to be brave. And one day I was sitting down, and he was telling me this story about going to a concert in the park or something like that. It was like a concert, some event outside. And he told me, hey, Peter, when I went to this thing, it was amazing. There was like 1 million people out there. And I said, what, really? He goes, yeah. I go, wow. How did they fit 1 million people in that park? And he said, Peter, come on. It wasn't really 1 million people. I'm exaggerating. And I said, what? He goes, yeah. I said, well, how many people were there? I don't know, like a couple hundred? And it completely blew my mind. I was like, what are you talking about? It was in that moment that I realized that people exaggerated, that people bend the truth, that people just sort of outright lied about things, not to be malicious, just because that's the way people are. They're colorful speakers. They remember things in different ways. They reveal information and they omit other informations. And up until that moment, I was completely confused as to why people did the things they did, why I couldn't understand what was going on. And that guy made me realize, oh, there's so much more that goes on with people than I never realized. Well, the law of attraction was that on steroids. The law of attraction was that on steroids for me. Once I finally understood that everybody does what they perceive to be in their own best interest, I stopped complaining about other people. I stopped wondering about why this person did this or that person didn't do that. And I started putting all the responsibility on me in order to control what was happening within me so that I could better influence my environment. And that gave me peace. It gave me a way to understand how to guide myself. I was no longer lost in the forest. I had some bearings. I knew that I could follow my North Star, or that I could follow the movements of the sun. I could understand people and myself better, to the point where now today I can find almost no reason to honestly and truly criticize another human being, to honestly, truly hold a grudge for another human being. I let everybody off the hook. And so to me, the law of attraction really helped me find this peace without feeling this turmoil that came from the confusion and my own naivete. So that to me is where I started off with, and that's where I end with when it comes to the law of attraction, when it comes to finding peace. I don't know, I hope that story made sense, but it just sort of clarified why people behave they do, why I behave the way I do, how my feelings fit into it, and how my thoughts fit into it. When it comes to finding peace within, whether it's related to law of attraction or personal development or anything like that, do you feel that you're closer now than you were before? Is that even a goal that can be attained, or people who think they have peace fooling themselves? Like, where are you on this topic of inner peace, of that comfort within, when it comes to what you know?
I think that I don't know what it would be like to have inner peace like completely all the time. I think that we can get closer and closer and closer. I think maybe that there are people, but I'm not striving for that. I'm not striving for complete inner peace all the time. I don't see it as like possible, or even something that I want. The contrast of life is very important. But for myself, finding inner peace, it's been like, for me, the biggest key is self-acceptance. I think that what you're talking about, law of attraction, being introduced to that, it made things a lot clearer. But for myself, with my own difficulties growing up and how I feel, it really has come to really accepting myself for who I am, where I'm at, what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, what I did, what I said, what, you know, like all of that stuff that you can be critical about, because that's always been my biggest thing, is like self-criticism and not accepting myself. And so the more that I accept myself and allow myself to just be who I am and do what I want to do, and, you know, yes, I'm somebody who always continues to strive for more and be better and improve, but where I am is completely perfect. That really causes me to like chill out and feel peaceful. So that's like my biggest thing, is like feeling just okay with everything and who I am. And when I say everything, I mean, I have like a certain perspective of the world as well that I've been introduced to by, you know, law of attraction, Alan Watts, philosophy. And so I think that that helps as well. I think that having a broader perspective that, you know what, life is what it is, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and people aren't going to be perfect, and I'm not going to be perfect, and to sort of go with the flow as much as possible. Still a difficulty, still working on it, but the more that I accept things and myself, it just, peace. It's great.
That makes complete sense, right? Self-acceptance. I mean, of course, that's where it begins and ends. And then this broader perspective that you're reminding us of is very important. You know, putting things in context, placing things within the right context really helps understand how you're feeling, what your thoughts mean, supplying meaning to your life. You know, those are all very true. And then going with the flow. You know, I mean, if finding peace can be categorized with anything, it's not that everything is okay. It's that you go with the flow. It's that there are ups and downs, and there are turbulent times, but you sort of allow yourself to go with that. Val, when you're thinking about inner peace, when you're thinking about you know, how this relates to you, you know, what kind of thoughts come to mind?
Awareness for me first. I mean, I'm very much like Sam. Self-acceptance is very important, but the first thing even to get to that was to become more aware of my feelings, and then most important of all, realizing that it is all up to me. So knowing that there are tools, that there are techniques, that every time there's resistance or something doesn't go right, then I'm the one resisting, I'm the one in the way. So it's good news. It's great news. I mean, it could be depressing news, but it's good news, because look, it's all up to me and nobody else. You know, I can't blame anybody. And So it's reminding myself of that regularly. That feels good. Remembering that all is well all the time and nothing is ever final. You know, that's another thing. Everything is changing all the time. So if it's not the way you want it to be, well, then there's a way to change it. You know, and there's not one perfect way. There are probably many options, and exploring that is fun. So that's what it is. So really, awareness and self-acceptance definitely is there as well. And then being empowered, remembering I've got the power.
And that's really important. You know, I think one of the things that that you guys do in terms of life coaching is reminding people the power that you do have. It's so easy to sort of lose sight of that, lose sight of the fact that you do have some measure of control. You do have power out there. Do you have power over the outside world? Not so much. Do you have power over other people? You know, maybe with a baseball bat, but you don't really have that. But you do have
non-violence, Peter. Non-violence.
Non-violence towards the self, but you can.
I know, but come on, extend it to others.
I love that. No, of course, no violence, but you know, reminding yourself of your own power. You know, what power do I have? You know, the fact that it's all up to you, what Val is saying here, to me is a wonderfully empowering thought. Not this idea that you're alone, that there are no resources available to you, but that the fulcrum point towards the shift in your environment, towards a shift in your perspective, all depends on what happens on the inside of you. And you can do something about that. And it's remarkable how some people might not realize that, but with the law of attraction, it's really fun to be able to be out there reminding people, even teaching people for the first time, that you do have power, you do have some control, that you can change what's happening within you. And of course, I mean, of course, if we're going to learn self-acceptance, then we definitely have to learn awareness, because how are you even going to be aware of what's going on for you to accept it? And so awareness is the ground of being. Awareness is the birthplace of consciousness. It's the birthplace of creation. It's the birthplace of all that we experience. And so learning how to become more aware, and we do so by taking care of our breath, caring about what we eat, caring about the words we say, the thoughts that we think. Once we develop more awareness, then we tap into the power that we always had, the power of perspective, the power of choice.
I'll just add that even what Val is saying, like about being in control, that it's us. When I first learned that nobody else is responsible for how I feel, I think I first realized that in therapy when I was in rehab, when I was a teenager, and just recognizing that, you know what, I am the one who's reacting, responding, feeling the feelings based on what this other person might be saying or doing, but they're not the one causing what's going on inside of me. It's all me and my perspective and the way that I'm viewing it and hearing it and interpreting it. And when I really realized that people aren't responsible for how I feel, I was like, oh my goodness, I am really in control. Like, I'm the one responsible. And that's it. Like, at first it really felt like, oh, I don't want that. Like, I want it to be other people's fault. That feels better, you know? But because I am interested in personal development, and I know that, like, you know, I now can change how I interpret situations and deal with my own feelings and, you know, experience all of that, it just made me feel very powerful, and it still does. And just that is like brings peace, because then you know that you can, no matter what's sort of going on, you can get yourself to a place where you feel better and better.
I love that. I wonder, I don't know, Val, if you have any opinions on this, but I wonder, sometimes I tell people that you have the responsibility, meaning you are to blame, and you get the reward. You get it all. Like, it's all up to you. And I don't know, I don't think I've ever had a moment where I thought that was a depressing thought, the fact that I was to blame for what was happening. Maybe even blame is absolutely the wrong word to use, but I'm just using it in this context. But do we ever feel, is it hard to communicate to people that it's their sort of fault, that they are to blame, that they get that burden, or is that something that's that people are readily accept?
No. I mean, look, Sam just said it. It was hard for her. It was hard for me. It's like no. I want it to be everybody else's fault, you know. So it's good news and bad news, as I was saying. And but yeah, I think you get so much more, you know, out of it. I think it's more good news than bad news, definitely.
I think so too. And Sam.
What I recognized with clients is that I have to be able, like, I have to say it in a certain way, depending on the client, Like, if somebody were to have said it to me, like, really, like, in your face sort of thing, you're, like, to blame, like, the way you're saying blame, I wouldn't use that word, but, like, I wouldn't have taken it very well back then. And so what I recognize with certain clients, depending on who they are, like, I have to sort of say it in a sort of different way, a roundabout way, help them to recognize their power, how they can change things, and then eventually they start to say, like, oh, like, yeah, I'm in charge, like, it's me, right? Because sometimes it can be harsh, like, it can be harsh if you're critical like I was, like, to then see your whole life and be like, I did this, it's like, ooh, it feels like, oh my God, that, like, now what, you know? So if you're critical, it's hard to take. But there are ways to help people to recognize it in different ways, you know? They'll help them see their power,
Yeah, you got to be diplomatic. You got to remind them of their power, I guess, before you even talk about the whole blame game. I grew up.
Hopefully they're watching it now and they're like recognizing that, yeah, okay, it is me. You know,
Look,
we're not getting the feedback from it right now. We'll probably get some.
Look, I like to say, look, diplomatically, I'll say, look, you're to blame and they're to blame, but you can't do anything about their blame. So just deal with your thing, you know. And when you deal with your thing, then you're more likely to influence what's going on with them. I grew up in a we gotta end the show, but I grew up in a dogma, believing a doctrine that put me at the center of the ultimate blame, that put me at the center. Not even the devil was to blame for my soul going to hell, you know? And so when I learned this idea that people sort of blamed other people and held them accountable for what was happening in their lives, I didn't like the idea that I wasn't to blame. I didn't like the idea that somebody else had control over me, besides God and Jesus. I didn't like that idea. And so, you know, I had to learn the hard way. Don't tell people you're to blame, because then they're not going to like you. But tell them you can change things, which I guess is like putting the responsibility on you without talking about the blame game. Yeah, blame is absolutely not the right word. But the piece that comes with this is knowing that you are in charge. At least you're in charge of your own bit. There's one.
Can I add just one thing?
Yeah, please,
You mentioned the word responsibility, and I've mentioned it before in a group discussion, I believe. If you look at responsibility as the ability to respond, it makes it very different. Then it's like you can respond or not, and in whatever way you choose. So it's not a burden. It's your choice, and so it's personal power.
I really love that. I was going to say something to end this, but I think that's a wonderful place for us to end this. Personal power, and you get to react. You get to react, and if that's not how you sort of find your peace, even a temporary peace. I mean, we don't need to be Zen Buddhist monks, you know. Just reminding ourselves of our own personal power, and that's what this show is about: reminding you to appreciate. Because the more we exercise our appreciation muscles, the better at it we get. I want to thank my co-host Samantha Barley and Valerie Soule for being here. You can find out more about Samantha Barley at samanthabarley.com. You can find out more about Valerie Soule at thepowerofelmotions.ca. Find out more about me at peterpaulhartman.com, the show at theappreciationist.com, and everything to do with the law of attraction at thelawofattraction.ca. Is there anything left to say?
Have a great week.
Have a great week.
Enjoy your evening. Enjoy the sun.
Thanks for watching.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.